All right, good evening. This is the live video Stunthangar control line forums hangout. And of course, my phone dings. Maybe it's one of our watchers right as I start. And we are here to talk about aeromodeling control line in particular, but any kind of thing you like to do with models, particularly, be it boats, planes, trains. Anything you like to do in your shop with tools, you're welcome to come talk to us about it. And I've broadcast public tonight, and we've been doing it unlisted, and found with public we have a lot better traffic on the YouTube side, so that always adds to it. So we've got it wide open. Whoever wants to come in, come on. And looks like we've got a couple of viewers already. The YouTube side's wide open to anybody that goes to the Stunthangar channel. And I'm getting a little feedback from my visitors. Looks like that. So once we start up, I'm going to mute it until.
Okay, I'm here.
Hey, Sparky.
I had to get everything shut down.
Yeah, that's all right. Didn't see you, and I heard the feedback. I was about to mute you until you showed up on camera. But we are open to the public tonight, and let's see how that goes. We had a lot more interesting people visiting us on the YouTube chat box the other night, so I enjoyed having that. And if all goes smooth, we'll keep doing it this way. I also left your Twitter checked in the feeds box on the streaming page, and early on you had told me to uncheck that when we first started getting some unwanted visitors, but we'll see what happens with that tonight too. I guess that broadcasts to a whole nother crowd.
Yeah, some of the tards were trying to get at me.
But so what you up to tonight?
Nothing. I just was working on my ring bat.
Oh yeah, I see it. Let me click on it so we can look at your workbench. Yeah, you're coming along pretty quick. You were right. You could build that in one day. Well, a couple of days. I guess that was Friday we were talking about it.
Did it all Saturday. I haven't done much. I just wrapped the lead outs tonight. I did all this Saturday.
Looks pretty good. Are you gonna put a decorative cheek cowl on the inboard side, or just leave it open like that?
No. Here's the cheek cowl.
Ah, there you go. And that's more than just cosmetic too. That stiffens the whole front end.
Well, yeah, ring bat. I got all the parts cut. Elevator stabilizer. They're sanded. The rudder. The fuselage. I got to shape the fuselage. I don't want to leave a square box.
No, I like to taper it, round it and taper it.
And ended up getting some of them eggs that Terry was telling me about. Got these from Walmart.
For the fuel bladder, is that what that's for?
Yeah, gonna fit in the wing like that.
Okay. Yeah, looks like that won't be too unsightly with its bulge on each side.
That's 6 ounces.
No kidding, really?
Yep. The 4 ounces are too small. I got a bunch of 4 ounces too, but they're little tiny things.
I wouldn't have looked at that and guessed it weighed 6 ounces.
It doesn't weigh 6 ounces. It holds
6 ounces. I got you. Hey, Jamie.
Hey.
Well, 6 ounces of fuel, and you ought to fly until you bore a hole in the grass.
Yeah. I don't know. 6 ounces of fuel on a G21 probably won't go, but 5, 6 minutes.
5 or 6. Oh, okay. Yeah. I forgot it was that size engine. Yeah. So I keep thinking of my bladder fed planes are all half A's, and so yeah, 6 ounces would turn you till you bored a hole in the grass with those. And Ron Hess is with us on YouTube. Good evening, Ron. How are you tonight? Glad you could join us. Are you at work again? What's up, Jamie?
Oh, not a lot. Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
How's Twister coming along?
Wing is pretty much done. A little sanding left, but other than that, it's pretty much done. And I started fuselage yesterday. Got the doublers on, got the motor mounts drilled, and just making progress.
Good.
Reshape my rudder. That's what I got it as right now.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, better than that squared off thing.
Yeah.
I was looking at a picture of one like mine today and thinking, now that could use a little bit of reshaping.
Now I did throw these curves on it right here. I don't know whether to keep taking it off and keep making it more, but I think I might keep it as is, just because it just makes it kind of unique, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of like the sharper lead edge of it.
Mm-hmm.
We had beautiful weather today, except for the fact that it was 25 degrees too cold. It only got up into the 50s today with a wind blowing, and we're going to have gale force winds blowing all week. I think at least a couple of days this week is supposed to be like 25-mile-an-hour winds. So no flying this week.
It was a blizzard here.
No shit, really?
Yeah.
I probably could have flew today. It was probably, I think, in the mid 60s, high 60s, and this afternoon the wind was like barely anything.
Yeah.
I probably should have went, but I was like, nah.
Well, I think I'll get some shop time in this week since the wind's too heavy to fly. And I tinkered with the Cardinal a little bit last night, but not much. I just went out to close up the shop. It had been open all day just to air out. And when I went to close it up, I sat down and started looking at the fuselage sitting in its jig and picked up a piece of the old leftovers from where I had punched out the parts. And there was a nice curvy piece with a 90-degree angle on the back of it. And I thought, I held it up in front of the vertical stab, which is already glued on, and all the parts are glued onto the fuse already. And I thought, well, maybe that'll look better. And I reshaped it and shortened it a little bit, and ended up adding a little curve out where it connects with the fuselage instead of just that sharp 90-degree angle like most Cardinals do. And I don't know. I'll keep looking at it. If I don't like it, I'll cut it back off. But it's on there now.
You're going to have it ready to go on?
No, not a chance. If it looks like an airplane, I might bring it up there. But so far, it's not looking like an airplane yet. I'm about ready to start building the wing, though.
How's Commander Jenkins coming? Has he got a new airplane?
He shows it on Stunthangar once in a while, but he doesn't have anything he doesn't have anything new that he's going to be flying at Triple Tree, I don't think. Commander Jenkins, yeah, he went fishing last week, caught one little bass. He lives on a nice lake, Lake Wiley up there at Tega Cay, South Carolina, which is basically full of people that commute to Charlotte every day.
I sure wish I'd have done what he did, stayed in the Navy.
Yeah, did he do his full 20 years?
He is a special case. I don't know how much you know about him, but he was a senior chief in the Navy, meaning that he went in as enlisted. And I guess he's some kind of nuclear submarine guy, boiler. I don't know what the hell they do. and he decided he'd go officer, and I don't know if he went warrant or what, but he went to college, went to school, got his degree, and came back as an enzyme officer, and then worked his way back up to commander.
Oh, good. No, I didn't know that about him. I mean, I knew he was in the Navy, but he's never told me a lot about it. I had heard you and he talking about it once or twice.
He was as high up as you can possibly get as an enlisted guy. And
that would be a master chief or something like that. I don't know what they.
Senior chief.
Okay.
He could have got. There's two positions higher, master chief and master chief in the Navy. But he's way up there, and that's what my buddy Don Shipley is. He's a retired senior chief, Navy SEAL. So I got a lot of respect for the senior chiefs and the master chiefs, and then to go back down to the lowest rank, which is the ensign, and start all over again, and then end up commander. That's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it takes a special person to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
My family was all Navy. I come from a long line of sailors, but when it came time for me to join, I medically disqualified, so couldn't go. When I went to register for the draft, that's about when I found out I had impending problems that would keep me out of the service.
I'll tell you something about the Navy uniform that not many people know. You know that flap on the back of the Cracker Jacks? On the back? You know what that's for?
No.
Back in the sailing days, all the sailors had ponytails and long hair, and they dipped their ponytails in creosote. And the creosote was kept off the uniform by that flap.
Creosote? Jeez.
Yeah.
I think that has to grow out. Once it's in there, it never comes out, does it?
I don't know. I won't be putting any creosote in my hair.
I wouldn't either. Like a walking telephone pole. That's what they seal railroad ties and telephone poles with.
Yeah, they're real thick oil crap.
Yeah, that's the most unrefined oil there is, probably.
And the 13 buttons on the front is for easy access. Gotta pee.
They're all snaps, I presume.
No, they're buttons.
Are they buttons?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some weird uniforms in the Navy.
Well, they're all. When I went in, I wore a chief's uniform, which was a black jacket and a double-breasted. Everybody did double-breasted suit, but then I had Cracker Jacks too. I mean, that was a transition at that time of uniforms. I had a combination cap and a Dixie cup.
Do they still wear the Gilligan hat? Is that what you call the Dixie cup?
Yeah, it's a Dixie cup.
Okay.
They wear it as a dress in their dress whites, but I think they're all now in digital camouflage.
Yeah, with the little square, pixelated looking pattern.
Blue digital camouflage. One pair of pants fits all sizes, so you know it's not very cool. Each uniform was tailored to the right size when I was in, but now it's one size fits all. Wow,
that must look pretty funny on some people because there's lots of different sizes of people for one size of uniform.
Drawstrings and elastic and
yeah. It's like Tom Creasy just joined on YouTube. What you doing over there, Tom?
Should be another week before I get the ring bat done. I'll have it at Triple Tree. I ordered the black monocoat for the wings, and I'm going to paint the fuselage black to match.
Yeah, the wing bat. That's a good name.
Ring bat. And it's just something that I used to fly when I was in the Navy. Jerry said, well, why don't you put wheels on it and enter it in the ringmaster competition? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do like I had when I was in the Navy. They're a lot of fun to fly fast.
Here comes Tom in the real world. How you doing, Tom?
How you doing?
We're all right. Just getting started.
Yeah.
Sparky's telling us Navy stuff.
Oh.
Were you in the service, Tom?
Yep.
What branch did you go in?
That was in the Air Force.
But he really wanted semen.
No. Hell no. I don't think so, buddy. No, I didn't want to be put on no ship and floating around in a boat on the water. So
Anybody can land on the ground. Not everybody can land on a postage stamp.
well, that's true.
Yeah, one that's rocking and rolling too. I've tried doing it with just a little cheap free simulator on the computer, and it looks like a daunting task to land on a ship, a tiny little dot in the just enormous ocean.
It's not as bad as everybody thinks. Let me explain how that works. They run out ahead of the ship, and they make a left, and they make a turn, and they're on the glide slope that as they're turning. And they get off in the distance, and then they line up. There's a line down the center of the angle deck. They line up. There's a meatball there, and it tells the pilot, as long as the pilot trusts the meatball, it's low or high. But they have a signalman at the back of the ship that'll, an experienced pilot that'll call off the landing. They also have a thing called ACL, which is automatic carrier landing. So the area that they have to hit within like a 9-foot box for a perfect landing.
Yeah.
9 foot. That's not very big. The airplane attitude can't be pitched up high, or else it'll hit the tail hook and slam it on the deck. So it has to hit the wheels and the hook at the same time. So.
And they also have it to where the ship and the computers inside. This is the F-18 anyway, and they can lock together, and actually that ship can land that airplane.
That's called ACL, automatic carrier landing.
Yeah. It's even got like a little stoplight that's on the front nose gear.
They didn't have that in all the
green and yellow.
They didn't have that in all the Flight of the Intruder books I read. I forget the name of that author now, but that was a great series of books. But you always want to try to catch the second line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a trick.
Yeah, it is.
Gary Forbes just came in on YouTube with a message for Sparky. He said that he mailed your plastic eggs this morning, and he'll try to get on here later. Okay, Gary. Thanks for checking in with us.
Thanks, Gary.
Hey, I tried to. I was out and about in the stores too, man, and I didn't find any eggs. I was looking though when I was out.
Well, I got some eggs. I got
It's a little late now.
I got the last bit of eggs from Walmart. I got 4 of these, or 4 of the 6-ounces and 4 of the 4-ounces.
I expect Amazon's got all you could possibly want.
Yeah.
I don't shop Amazon.
Well, I just bought 2 5-ounce bottles of JB Weld for $15, and that'll last me a lifetime. Plus, I bought 30 gauge copper wire 100 foot. So I'm all set. And I got my black
Is that what you is that what you like wrapping your lead outs with, 30 gauge?
Yeah, finer the better.
Yeah, I usually use 28, but yeah, 30. I'll try that next time. You can get that in the craft section at Walmart.
Yeah, I just lazy at it when I go to Walmart. It'll be here Wednesday.
Do you strip the coating off of it before you use it, or do you just use it with the coating on it?
It don't matter. I'm not soldering it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, people used to solder it, and then that turned out to be a bad idea.
Yeah, it did. I did that, I think, once when I was a kid, and never did do it again.
Yeah, it creates a stress riser there where the lines enter, and it'll break them off.
Yeah, tired.
I know, me too. I just got up from a cat nap.
Well, I'm gonna have to hit it, guys. I thought I'd get in here and say hello anyway.
All right.
These late night hangouts I can't do. Time to go to bed.
Yeah, we'll carry on without you then, and we're like I was saying earlier, we're broadcasting public tonight. So if we have any problems and we have to sign out, go back to the At the Bench thread and look for the new link, and we'll restart unless it's close to the end of the show, and then I won't worry about it. But
you know, I started in this apartment with no airplanes. I now have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 airplanes here. Unreal.
If you got any racks for them, or are you just propping them up wherever you got spare room?
There's 5 of them leaning up against the TV stand over there, and they're hanging on the wall.
Yeah,
this place is unmovable here by the time I get out of here. All right, guys, I'm gonna hit it.
All right, Sparky, have a good night.
Yep, catch you later.
Sleep tight. 11 viewers on YouTube. Looking good. Thanks, YouTubers. We appreciate your coming in and hanging with us. If you would click that $sign at the bottom of the chat, that's called Super Chat, and that gives us a little resources for keeping this going, so Sparky can afford the equipment it takes to do it, and maybe to get me out to the shop. That would be nice, to where I can have my somebody just did from that's our trusty friend
Gerald.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Then twist his arm. Thanks for setting a great example, Gerald. I trust you. I guess you got your power back on now, down in New Zealand. They had a bad Antarctic storm last week, and he was out of power, and cellular access. Internet was down for a few days.
Wow.
He sent me an email. I think he went into town, found some place with access, and sent me a message letting me know he was still there and just out of power. I thought I was going to be out of power yesterday. We had some mean winds coming through with the cold front, and there were widowmakers falling out of the trees, and the power kept blinking, and I was outside vacuuming my aircraft carrier, Big Red, at the Santa Fe, and all of a sudden, boom, it went off. I said, oh, well, there goes the power. I looked inside the house, the lights are still on, or some of them anyway, and I got 3 breaker boxes, all of which are mislabeled terribly, and one of them's an old ancient Federal box, and the breakers look like they could bust off at any time that I try to flip them, and I hate touching that box. But I ended up flipping every damn breaker in the house before I finally figured out which one it was. It was the last one that I could try that finally turned it back on. And of course, everything in the house that was on that breaker was turned on with me running the vacuum. That's what finally just overloaded it. So I went around the house and turned everything off, went back to vacuuming. It's been all winter since I've cleaned up my car. What you working on, Tom?
Oh, just trying to finish up on a little tiny thing on the Crusader. Got like these little nitnoid things, you know, that happen that you always have, you know. One of my nitnoid things was I didn't like the nose. There was too much black on it. So I went ahead and changed it a little bit.
It's like you got a decal on it now.
Well, it had a decal on it, just couldn't see it. I just didn't like the black. I had to break it up. I still don't like it, but you know what? I'm at the point I don't care now. I mean, it is what it is, you know. It's all right. It'll fly okay. You know, that's the main thing is getting it up and flying. I might be short a couple bolts.
Concentrating so hard on there.
Yeah. I have to start shaping my fuselage on the ass end. That little point in the back.
Yeah.
I could keep it square, but yeah.
No, you don't want to do that. It's nice to taper it, and that helps. Sure, you don't have too much weight in the tail too. I went ahead and tapered my Cardinal behind the wing more than I usually do, since I had that big carbon fiber brace in there. I figured I could knock it down a little narrower, so I started up about 2/3 of the way from the wing, and just went down at increasing pressure as I got towards the tail, and I got a pretty nice looking taper to it now. And I just counted strokes. I'd do 12 strokes on one side, flip it over and do 12 strokes, and just try to keep the pressure the same as I went along from beginning to end, and it looks pretty good, and it's still just as stiff as it was. I think my carbon fiber insert was a good idea. Just that I am going to do what Steve, I think it was Steve Helmick, suggested. I put a doubler at the trail edge of the wing, because where that brace ends makes a stress riser, and I hadn't actually thought about that until he mentioned it, but I think he's right. And he said to use a 32nd ply for it, but I'm going to use 64th, because I think it's a pull. You know, it's a pulling force that it's got to resist, and I think 64th will be just as strong against braking for that reason. If it breaks, I'll put it back together with some heavier 32nd.
It dies. It dies.
Been a long time since I've broken a plane behind the wing. In fact, well, except for the completely demolition of my Skyray, since I've graduated from half A, I hadn't broken any of my stunters right behind the wing.
Man, you want to know my favorite tool of aeromodeling is?
What's that?
Your
An orbital sander.
your planer.
Orbital sander.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Charles.
Hey,
It's
what's up,
feathers,
man?
doublers,
Hey,
like no
Charles.
tomorrow.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, Charles. Good thing you came on here. I missed you last Friday, but I was out of town.
All right.
You did Eric Rule get a hold of you?
I've talked to Eric Rule a couple of times lately, but
Oh, I talked to him Saturday.
I think I talked to him Friday before Saturday.
No, it was Thursday.
Okay.
I talked to him Thursday, and you talked to him this past Friday.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, he was talking, wondering about if he got the problem fixed with the Strega, with the fuel tank.
Oh, you know what? That's still it's getting a lot better. Actually, I don't even know how I did this, but I've been mixing my fuel a little bit, modifying the fuel. I buy the fuel stock, but sometimes I'll add oil to it. If it's all synthetic, I'll add synthetic oil. If it's I have a couple planes that use synthetic, and some planes use castor, and I'll manipulate the fuel for the plane. Sometimes I will dilute the nitro or add nitro. And anyways, I must have just messed up on my fuel because when my Strega wasn't working, I think I mentioned this last time, it wasn't working very well.
Yeah.
Or actually running. Kevin McElroy, actually, I was with him Saturday, and he's usually on the other side, and he said, it seems like you're just cooling your motor off. I won't even keep the glow plug hot. And so I went to the hobby store and bought some new fuel, and then the Strega ran on that. So
Cool.
but as far as the tank height, this new motor, this K77, doesn't exhibit the same characteristics that the stalker is. So in some regards, it's a lot better. I still need to adjust the fuel tank a little bit, but at least it's in the other direction. So that's a nice, refreshing change.
What do you think was wrong with the fuel that you had mixed?
Rusty, I don't know. It's about a gallon of fuel that I
forget what I've done to it. I've got a bottle. Did I add castor to this or did I not, or something like that? So
yeah, it might have been something like that. I might have just forgot I did this already. And so I don't know what's wrong. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to see if I can rejuvenate it a little bit. I hate to waste fuel, so I was going to add some nitro to it. And
Well, yeah, I'd add a little bit of nitro and see what it does. But man, it's problems, the fits that it give you. Hell, it'd be well worth it just to get another one and just take that one and use it for like.
sport
You ever
flying.
have your engines get gummed up after a year, if not run, or a season or a little bit,
right.
Like winter. When I come out of winter, I take old fuel. I got a little bit of it, and that's what I use to kind of clean the gum up in the inside of my motor.
I do too. I got old fuel that I use. I got a jar of it. Sometimes I'll just drop an engine in it and let it soak.
Yep. So maybe that's what you can use that old fuel for.
Or sport flying, and if you got an old beater that you want to fly, you can try it for that.
That's a good idea. What I was entertaining was just to, put the good fuel in, start the motor and get it running and see what the RPM is, and then try the other fuel, once I spike it a little bit, and then see if the RPMs go up or go down, so I can kind of see where I'm at, and then modify it so I get it what's pretty close.
Well, I think you're on the right track there now, because that's what it, would kind of sound like, related to the problems that you're having.
Somebody posted on Stunthangar the other day that SIG had raised their fuel prices and that the quartz were getting harder to find. Does anybody know anything about that? Anybody buy SIG? I do. When I can't get Power Master, I'll get SIG as a backup. But except for the 2% difference in oil, I can't tell any difference. It's a seamless transition as far as the needle valve settings goes.
Oh, that's good.
I prefer the extra 2% of oil, and I've got drugstore castor on the shelf that I add. I've got it written down on my bulletin board how much, I forget, but you know, to bring it up to 22%. But I don't know about that drugstore castor, if it has the same effect or acts the same way. And I can't tell any difference with that either, though. I do know that it'll separate. And I heard somebody saying that when you mix fuel from scratch, that you have to add the ingredients in a certain order, or they may not mix correctly. But
That's true.
is it?
I mean, I've heard that. I don't know if it's true with this fuel, but I know sometimes when you mix different ingredients, you mix one up first before the other. Yep.
Huh.
I remember I was flying half A the first time I started adding castor to the fuel, and I remember getting to the bottom of a quart, and there was a 1/4 inch of sludge on the bottom, and it was clear sludge, so that was castor oil that had just settled out of it. I always shake it up really well after I add it.
As far as mixing, I buy Cool Power or Sig castor, and then I buy Cool Power synthetic oil. My local hobby shop will order me lubrication, lubricant, and so whether I want to get castor, because Cool Power makes castor as well. And so I just use that. But in an emergency, I have gone to the drugstore and got some castor, but that was only on one occasion.
I just ordered Beanol.
From
That's what
Klotz.
castor I use, red Beanol.
Yeah, that's from Klotz, right?
Huh?
That's what Klotz calls theirs, isn't it?
I don't know. Gosh, I have it out in the garage, but it's BE and then NOL.
Yeah, Benol, BENOL.
Yeah, I thought that was the manufacturer, right?
Oh, I don't know. It might be just a ubiquitous name that because it comes from castor beans, so it's bean oil, Benol. And castrol used to be when years ago. That's what castrol was castor oil. Yeah, is where the name castrol came from.
Anyways, I just wanted to stop by and say hi. Actually, I'm going to try to get some flying in tomorrow because it's beautiful out here tomorrow and low wind.
Oh, good.
I'm not ready, but I'm going to hopefully work on the plane. Unfortunately, I can't work on the plane and talk to you guys at the same time.
Oh, well, got to do what you got to do to keep flying, man.
Yes, but I'll be listening to you. I'm going to try to put my phone and listen to the call. But I enjoy, the conversation very much.
I was drinking coffee this morning, looking out and watching it snow.
Oh, it's too bad.
Yeah,
I'm working, so screw all y'all.
Videoed yourself like that, it could be like Wendy. He used to get up and have his coffee and watch the birds come into the bird feeder and
Yes.
throw
The birds have
some
fled.
food in the koi pond,
Yes, that's true. Yeah, talking about the fledgling of the birds and
Yeah, but that's definitely good.
Darren, the birds have fled. Get your 90 ship. Let's go fly. Call Rich Oliver. Tell him you need a pipe for your 90 ship. And the birds have fledged.
we must be stunt flyers.
Oh, yeah. I probably watched 15 hours of Wendy in the last 2 days.
I hadn't watched much Wendy lately. I never did find any of him building a profile cardinal. There's plenty of him building a full fuse cardinal, but if he built a profile cardinal, all I've got is the wing build, and I don't need the wing build. I needed the fuselage build, but I'm done with that now, so I don't need it anymore.
Out of all the Wendy videos I've seen, I've never seen him do a profile or ever mention him doing a profile.
I was told that there is a profile cardinal on video that Wendy built, but I never could find it. But I don't have the patience or the time to pick through all those videos just for, you know, what might be one 30-minute clip of him working on a profile or something.
Yeah. I've seen bits and pieces of it. And I know what you're talking about. There is one out there. I just don't know what number it is, or
I think it was you that gave me the name of the tape to look for, and I found it, I think, but I never did find the part with the profile part in it.
I mean, hell, I just found one yesterday of him and I forget who it is, some guy named Kenny, building a Nobler.
Oh yeah. Kenny. What is Kenny's last name? Thompson. Kenny Thompson. Yeah, I enjoyed that. That's actually a 7 or 6 video series.
All right, see, this is the one that it was only 2 parts that Paul Taylor had put up on YouTube. So I think it's like a total of like maybe 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Maybe. But what it is, it's like snippets, it's clips, you know. So he worked on this part, then he worked on this part, then he worked on this part, you know. There's a good video because, you know, I like seeing his point of view of building the Nobler, how they did it. And so it answered a few of my questions.
Yeah, I've seen the whole thing. It's very good. Actually, I used that to build my Nobler ARF. But very informative. And those two together was pretty funny.
Like the one I've been watching lately is the build marathon. I'm on like take 3 of it.
Yeah.
Is this on Paul's channel that you're watching?
Yeah, either his P. Taylor account or his CL guy, one or the other.
Yeah, CL guy.
Because like a lot of them ain't numbered, you know, they'll just be like descriptions, or it'd be like Wendy molds, you know, Wendy landing gear blocks, or some oddball thing, and you like totally miss it because it don't pop up like all the other videos do with numbers in like Brodak Take 3 2009 or whatever.
Yeah,
one of the guys in his videos, I think the 2009 Brodak, Ray Dore, he lives like not even a mile away from it. He was in the video when him and Jack Bone and some other guy and Billy went flying over Brodak's. Ray was in that video with him. Ray was the one with the Nobler ARF that crashed and they repaired it like twice.
Yeah.
Little Ray Dore. In fact, the handle I fly my Ringmaster with he had gave me.
Wendy or Ray?
Ray.
Yeah, I met Ray at
handle that Ray made. Was that?
I met Ray at Brodak's. I met him a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
I met him and his wife, and I knew him from the video. So when I went to Brodak's, it was like I met Jackabones, I met Dave Midgley, I met Joe Adamusco, and I was so excited because I've been watching these guys on Wendy videos, you know. So I saw everybody except for Wendy, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because like Ray was telling me, God, this is right when I met him. Like, oh, man, I used to hang out with Wendy and yada yada. And I mean, I guess, you know, not knowing anything on, you know, be like, you thinking to myself, oh, whatever, you know. And then poof, there it is. I'm like, holy shit, he was right. He really did.
And you know, he mentions Elliot Scott, and I've met Elliot Scott too. Actually, I've hung out with Elliot Scott at the Golden State, and Elliot Scott is pretty cool with his British accent.
Yeah, Ray, I mean, lives. Go down here, take a right. He's right there. That's where he lives at. I mean, just right there by me.
Wow. You guys fly together?
Yeah, we only went flying one time. This Ringmaster that's right here that you can't really see is the orange and blue one.
Yeah.
It was yellow when I got it. I made one whole flight with it, And then the next day, Ray met me that next morning and we went fly. And so my first flight, I decided to try to fly inverted. And, instead of, just, invert, go, up is down, down is up. I went like this, just pulling back and boom. And I know it just exploded.
Oh boy.
But I rebuilt it. Then in the 3 days after I crashed it, I rebuilt it.
Very good.
And I haven't flown it since I got my Brodak one, or since I started flying my Brodak R. Because that one has a 25 FP and it needs a I'm gonna say a push rod retainer on the side of the fuselage because it flexes. Right. And it needs a Uniflow tank because that 25 FP just runs away after a loop. It just goes.
Wow.
But that was Mike Donovan built that Ringmaster, gave it to I think my club president. My club president gave it to another guy in the club, and then when I got into it, he found me on Stunthangar and he gave it to me.
Nice. Try replacing that long rod with carbon fiber, then you won't have to have a retainer to brace it. That's
yeah.
About carbon fiber is you don't have to brace it.
That's
but
true.
The thing is with this one is I think the push rod, I could undo it. I probably should have did it at the time when I had it all opened up and everything. I probably should have replaced it right then and there. But I mean, it won't be nothing to put on that that retainer. I don't even have to. And really, I think the little part, I forget the name of it, that goes onto the horn. It's soldered to where you can't like unscrew. It's adjustable, but it's soldered, so it's non-adjustable now.
Clevis.
The clevis, that's it.
Yeah.
And so I can't like take it off to like run the little Brodak retainer in and bolt it on. So my buddies are like, "Oh hell, just get a cotter pin, wrap it around 2 times, and shove it through the fuselage and epoxy it. It'll work."
Yeah.
So that's probably what I'm going to do. But what I'm thinking of doing, and as soon as I find it, I'm going to screen share. I'm actually thinking about stripping that orange and blue covering off and redoing it as close to the same as when I got it, which is that one right there.
Oh, that's pretty cool looking. Let me get a click on that. Here we go. That's one of the better looking rings I've seen. I like that.
And that's when I first got it. That was Mike Donovan. That's his AMA number.
Yeah. And that's the LA that runs away after a couple of laps.
No. That's that LA-25 is on my Brodak Ringmaster. So my main ringmaster.
Yeah.
That I done away with that remote needle valve. I got a aluminum back plate. I got a regular needle valve in the front on the Venturi. Venturi's still the same, and no longer a 9.4 prop. Running a 9.5 APC. I ain't this junky tank I still got, but it cracked in the crash.
Yeah.
And I got a Uniflow on it now. I don't remember which one, but I like to redo this because this was all Monaco. It's not dope or anything, but I like to get as close. And that's what it looked like when it crashed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That thing hit hard inverted. You ever seen a spinner just explode? This probably still got pieces of it out there in the ballpark.
What kind of hinges were on that stabilizer elevator?
Oh man, to be honest with you, I think it might have been pin hinges. And what I did was,
it's amazing how they'll come apart like that.
Mm-hmm. And I think I used cloth hinges to put it back on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the break. You know, it was like a clean break. You know, it shot the spar through the ribs right here.
That is why they call that spar the rib ripper. don't. If you ever build another ringmaster, leave that out. Same
Yeah.
goes for a Sterling Yak 9 or a Mustang. That serves no purpose except for to destroy ribs in a wreck.
But luckily, I mean, I was able to glue them all back and just slide the spar back over, and just glue the spar all back together. The where it joined at the trailing edge and the leading edge, it was just a clean break, so that was no big deal.
You know, one thing about fixing ribs too is if you crack a bunch of ribs, you just cut them off so that there's a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch stump sticking out of the leading trail edge, and cut some new ribs and just glue them right up against those stumps.
Oh. And so that's what it looks like now when I rebuilt it.
Yeah, that's all right.
I wanted to do like the whole opposite scheme, you know, one side orange, one side blue, but I ended up running out.
My Skyray looked like that at one time. It had one dark blue insignia blue wing and one sky blue wing. Looks like Gerald just joined us.
All right,
there he is. Hey, Gerald, how you doing?
Oh, good, thank you. We're back up and running again after 5 days of no power. Been trying to catch
a long time. Did you have hot water or running water during that time?
No, we had no running water. We had to flush our toilet by dragging the water in.
Oh, gosh.
Unless I got the water pump running on an inverter or on the generator. Our water pump's too big to run on the inverter. So we had to heat up the hot water on the wood-burning stove and do all that. But the hard bit was we were worried after 5 days we're going to run out of clothes for the kids and we're going to have to go out and buy them some more clothes.
Yeah.
They go for all their smalls quickly. And, you know, now that the weather's getting mucky, it doesn't stop them getting dirty either. But, yeah, it was a bit of a worry. Couldn't really do a lot of building without power. And couldn't use my phone.
Is everything okay with your roof and your house and everything?
A bit of tidying up. I've got to get the chainsaw out, but at least I can have a bath now at the end of it. I was worried I'd get all grotty tidying up and I couldn't really have a good shower. I can have a bath, but we'd have to fill the bath up with hot water, and that took ages to boil enough hot water to have a reasonable bath. But yeah, there's some cleaning up outside. Got to do some chainsaw work.
We had a front blow through this weekend, Sunday, with some really high winds and dropped a tree on my son's car.
Oh,
it's pretty well torn up.
That's the main thing. Is that you're okay, that nobody's injured and something like that? The property can be repaired.
Yeah, good. I'm glad everybody made it through okay. Yeah, I got your email and I informed everybody of your situation the other night.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. You can't do all the normal things you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Flying on the weekend. It's just weather was too bad.
Hey, Gerald, I'm going to bow out, but I didn't want to make you think it was because of you. I had advertised I was going to take off because I'm working on my planes. I can fly tomorrow, God willing.
Oh, well, I was listening to you before. It sounds like the new modes are going well anyway.
Yeah, it's just showing me some good things. I changed the fuel and got it going, and I still want to adjust the either the tank height or the engine shim, but it's much closer than it was before. So, but anyways, I'm gonna bid you guys all good night. I might rejoin you later on, but I'm gonna try to get some work done.
If we don't see you again tonight, we look forward to your flight report on Friday.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right,
see you guys later.
See you later.
Charles.
Later, Charles. Yeah.
Your ringmasters were looking good, Jamie.
Yeah. In fact, let's see. Let me see if I can back up to it. I'll show you the repair. What I did different whenever I finally got it all back together. So I'm going to screen share one last time. All right. Now this ain't typical of a ringmaster. You see right here the cockpit where my mouse is?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Normally you would have the doubler coming, you know, like a little bit, and then that's it. Well, it had broke somewhere. It's like around right here. I had to glue I had to epoxy the nose back on. But what I ended up doing was splicing a piece of light ply on both sides of the cockpit with it to help it. And I was told, do a biscuit joint. Do a biscuit joint. Get you some 1/64 ply, cut a little half-moon tapes, and, you know, the whole process of doing it. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to take too long. I'm just going to do this. So I went ahead, and that's like a little ply block right here, and it bulges out of the cover.
It gives it character.
Yeah, I guess. And I mean, it takes away from it, and it's epoxy, so it'd be a pain to try to take it off again.
Yeah. If you got a good epoxy set, then that thing's just as strong as it ever was. I got a couple of flight streaks that are glued together the same way, where the whole nose just came off. But you know, when that balsa shatters with a million spikes, they fit together better than you could ever cut biscuits and all the fancy carpentry joints and make it fit together. And it's, I swear, I think, you know, just hold it straight while the glue sets, and it'll be stronger than it was before.
Yeah. You want to see the video of me crashing?
Oh.
Oh yeah. Let me click on you there so we can watch it.
Let me know when we're ready.
I'm ready.
Ready?
I don't do nothing fancy for the first few laps. Now, this is the second flight I put on this Ringmaster when I got it.
It's like about 4.5 second laps.
Oh, yeah. I knew nothing about setting the needle. In fact, right there, that's Ray Doré that me and Charles was talking about. That's him right there.
That doesn't sound like an LA-25. Is that what it is?
Yep. I don't think it had a muffler on it right here.
To say that's what it is. Here we go.
Nope, not yet.
I thought that was a loop coming up.
Oh yeah, just wait for the like the half wing over. That looked like it about. No, it's coming. Oh, here it is. Here it comes. And then here's the brain fart. Let's go inverted.
Oh.
Oh.
Great.
God, I tell you what, I was dizzy. I was dizzy whenever that flight ended. I can't remember the last time I got dizzy now. Is this your screen share? No. Okay.
Well, shoot.
You just got to work your way back into it then if you've had a winter down, I suppose, and try and remove the dizziness through gradual flying.
Oh yeah, I mean, I ain't got dizzy in a while. It was like even like our first get together a couple of weeks ago flying. I mean, I flew. I don't know, I got to put like 5 or 6 flights. I didn't get tipsy for none of them. Usually, you know, the first flight after not flying for a few weeks or whatever, I'll have like a little 2-second dizzy spell when it's done.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you stand there in the house, you know, and once a day or so do some turning backwards and forward. That'll adjust your inner ear to keep you from getting dizzy.
but here's the reason why I like the orbital sander. I had Mike muted myself and
Yeah.
and that's that sanding pad on there has been on there since 2007. Same exact one.
Well, Boss was pretty kind on the sandpaper. It's not like trying to sand paint or a bulb or something where it's going to clog it.
Yeah. See, like the doublers for the twister, they don't fit exactly to the fuselage that's already pre-cut. So you're going to have some, you know, sticking up or whatever, just not even. And I mean, as soon as I put that sander on there, it just went to town. I mean, you have to be fast with it. You can't, you can't hug. You got to be.
Yeah, it's pretty aggressive. You can do some damage if you're not careful.
Yeah. That's what I use a belt sander often to level up the doublers and things when I'm doing a profile, but you've got to be careful. If it bites, you got some repair work very quickly.
I never can get belts for my 1-inch belt sander that are finer than 120, and so that's fine. But I sand everything with it from metal to wood, and it gradually gets smoothed out to where it's perfect for me. And then when they get to where they don't work hard enough, I replace them. And I've always been able to go down to Lowe's and pick up a 3-pack of them, and they always fit. And I just assumed it must be a standard length. So I picked up some a couple of weeks ago and brought them home, and they were too long. And so I got to take them back and exchange them, but need to measure it, find an old one and measure it and see just what length it does take. I guess I guess they're not all the same. Every picture I see of a tabletop belt sander looks just like mine, so I figured they were all the same length, but they're not.
The problem is when they bring out a new brand or a new product and they bring out new discs or new belts, and you just find you've got a multitude of things to start choosing from. There are new products on the market. But, yeah, I've got one of the handheld belt sanders. That's really good for using outside. Just cart it around and you can hold it and move it around a fuselage, whereas the benchtop belt sander's much more aggressive. But if I'm going to do a lot of sanding, I drag it outside too. It makes such a mess. But yeah, it's one of my favorite tools, the old belt sander.
Oh yeah, you can do so much with that for shaping, and you can work aluminum or anything, make it look professional, round off the edges and smooth them.
Well, in the modeling room, I've got my own tools out in the garage, but I've got my own tools in here, including palm sander.
I love my palm sander.
Yep.
Except my neighbor threw the cushion pad away. When I lent it to him, I pointed out, you see that pad that the paper lays on? Do not take that off. That's part of the sander. And when he brought it back, it didn't have the pad on there. And I said, like, where's my pad? And he said, oh, I thought you were supposed to throw that away when you replaced it. You moron.
Obviously somebody not used to using that sort of tool. They need some sort of a backing pad, otherwise it would just damage everything. It's like a polisher. I remember when you're polishing a car and you've got a polisher, you put a foam pad underneath there so it's a bit gentler. And it's the same sort of principle. Yeah, the other thing I sometimes use is a flapper disc. You know, a flapper disc on angle grinder, and that's really good for cutting back hard lumps of epoxy and stuff that you can't get with a normal sander. You can get in there and sort of detail it. Let's see if I can find it. I'll show you.
Do you guys ever use this and solder these brass eyelets right here on your landing gear on the inside so you don't have to use a collet?
I have, yeah. I got a whole jar full of those.
Yeah. I wish I had like the next size bigger than this. I would make me some thimbles. That's all I got left, dude.
Yeah, I just press them together.
I still haven't got any thimbles.
Yeah, if you were able to press those together, then you could have a homemade thimble.
What's that?
Yeah, if you could just take two sizes, one just a little bit bigger than the other, you could press them together and have a homemade thimble.
Well, I actually made a thimble out of these today, and yeah, the way I made it turned out pretty sweet, dude. Just still too small diameter. So next time I go to swap meet, I'll get some eyelets like these, but the bigger ones. if I don't find any thimbles, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you can buy them from Stunthangar Hobby.
I know. I just, what, they're 10 cents, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
that's all I'd have to get. That's all I need. I'm going to see if my flying buddy's got some. I know he's got some at his house. I'll just go over there and
buy a pack of lead out wire, you know, 027 lead out wire. It comes in the pack with the wire. They've got thimbles in the package when you buy the wire from Brodak.
hey, that's a good idea. I wonder if I got something in a kit.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If you got a Ringmaster kit, it probably got it.
Yeah, if it's from Brodak, they're in there.
Even SIG.
So are the little crimp tubes.
I'm on a mission. This Crusader is ready, but that. If I had the lead outs done, it's ready for flight. I bet you this is going to be a crazy flying plane.
You know, if you really wanted to, you could take some thin copper tube, run that wire through it, and bend it over into a teardrop. We talked about that the other night, and then wrap it, you know, with some copper wire, just like you wrap it after it's on the thimble, and that works really well.
Well, if I hook on my leads, it ain't gonna, as soon as the airplane takes a full load on the line, it's not gonna just take that teardrop and just kink it.
Not if you don't anneal it.
Well, the other thing is those little brass rings, I think, that you're talking about. Sometimes you can get them from some of the better haberdasheries or dressmaking fabric stores that sell sewing supplies. They seem to use them for some things. But yeah, there's one of those flapper discs I was talking about. Yeah, if you've got a variable speed.
I've got a miniature one of those from a Dremel.
I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, they're good for cutting back where it gets heavy going.
You can get them in 80 grit and 220 grit.
Yeah, those ones are really coarse 40 grit. But I
I've got some raised areas of CA in a pretty precarious place that I need to get off. Maybe I'll try something like that with the Dremel, because I've got something that looks like that for my Dremel. It's a little flapper, sort of a sanding. It's a wheel with little flaps of sandpaper all the way around it.
Yeah, they're quite good compared to an angle grinder where it's more harsh. It gives you a more feathered, gentle edge, and you can control it with the finer grits. But, I just use a lot of the automotive tools that I've used in the past, and then just buy a low power grinder to use with them. Yeah, I had some of those little ringlets. Where I put them.
Fucker.
Oh, what's this? A new kit?
Nothing.
That's a Brodak kit. I'm hoping that Vector 40 will turn up this week with a bit of luck before my birthday, and I'll have another big building project on my hands.
When's your birthday?
Oh, a few days' time. It's on the 20th, but yeah, so only a few days away now.
How old are you going to be?
Oh, 52. Old man.
What'd you say, 52?
Yeah, 52.
Oh, man, young guy. You kids.
Yeah. You whippersnapper.
Don't always feel that way, though. But if you're lucky, you've got good genetics and you're still working away quite well when you're in your 80s. And if you're unlucky, you just get taken away early. And Terry sent us the email about Lee Emery having died yesterday, I think it was on the 13th.
Yeah.
Good news. My youngest son really admired all his lock and loads, like watching all his videos.
Who did you say?
Oh, Lee
Oh,
Emery.
yeah.
Yeah, the character from
Full Metal Jacket.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's sorry to see him go.
There's an Oriental box.
Man, all it's got is these little tiny ones. Nah, I'll just wait.
I mean, if it's in the Oriental, it'll work for that one.
Well, they're like 1/8" diameter ID. I want bigger. They make a bigger one. That's the one I like better. 'Cause I got fat, big fingers, you know.
Fig used to use them on their packets. I can see, you know, on their packets. And I'd pull them out of their packets. It's on a packet of hinges, but they had them on the top of their packets, and I'd poke them out and then use them.
Oh, yeah.
In New
Great
Zealand,
idea.
y'all street gold and wipe your nose with platinum toilet paper. In America, they do use nothing but paper for that shit. We don't get none of them nice, fancy little brass trinkets all over our little packagings.
No, this is SIG packaging, though. There's another one. Another SIG packet.
Uh-huh. That's all from a distributor in your country. That's all it is. It was added.
Yeah, right, Jamie.
I wish
Hey,
we could
Steve.
buy the SIG stuff. Hi, Steve.
Hey guys.
Yeah, Jamie, I like the rudder shaped like that.
I think I like it too.
Hey, has anyone ever heard of the Vico Papoose?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
No.
Warrior, Papoose, they're all sort of brothers and sisters, weren't they?
Yeah, there's a Tom and
There's a brand new Sterling S1 Ringmaster in the box.
Ooh.
Burn it. It weighs 3 tons.
Oh, this looks like
Oh man, hey, you ought to see the red piece of red oak in here. It's beautiful.
I got one. I got it. It's a red oak leading edge. It's on my wall right now from Black Hawk Models.
No shit, really.
Well, I've got a little I've got a deal to fix that problem. I've got that 3/4 inch bead bit for my router. I just run that right along there and just hollow that whole thing out.
Yeah, that sounds a good idea.
Yeah. Scoop it out in the rear.
what airplane you got there, Tom? Is that your
Oh, the Crusader.
was that the Crusader?
Yeah, I didn't like the black nose, and so I did something so the decal would stand out a little bit. It just had too much black on the nose, but I had a little bit left to do on it. In fact, all I got left now is one thing: lead outs. That's it. I need some thimbles. Need a pack of them. The large thimbles.
You got it. You have it cleared yet or not?
Yep. It's
You know,
cleared.
instead of thimbles, what I have done before is gone to the fishing store and gotten some steel rings that are seamless. There's no, they're not split anywhere. It's just a solid steel ring, and that's in the fishing tackle store area where you make you pick the parts to make your own tackle with, and then just tie them on or wrap them onto your lead outs, and there you go.
Hold on a second, Tom. I'll show you a different way to do that. That it's a whole lot easier if you're trying to get them even.
Oh no, not.
But yeah, Rusty, I'm in agreement.
I got me a little jig, but it needs to be done a little better.
You make that one.
Across a jig that I really like that I haven't built yet.
Your lead out jig? The wrap them.
Yeah, I've got one here that I built, but it's not. I don't have enough room in it. That's the only one thing bad about the hobby. The bigger the airplane is, the better for me. I got these big, fat, bulky, klutzy hands.
I actually have really wide hands too. I can't fit my hand in most people's handles.
Yeah.
For a skinny guy, I've got big old hands.
Yeah.
They look like hell, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got y'all.
Remember the claw back in the 70s, WWE wrestling? The claw got you.
I do not, but I avoided WWE wrestling.
Oh man, us kids when we was 9, 10 years old, dude, we used to just, man, we used to do all the moves.
Back in the black and white days, my dad used to watch that stuff. It was on Saturday afternoons, I think, but it was good for a laugh, but I never could stand that stuff.
Yeah, Andre the Giant.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
My grandfather loved all of that.
Look, talk about big hands. From the tip of my thumb to the edge of my pinky is 10 inches.
No shit. Mine's, I think, 6 inches. Good Lord. Let's see if I can straighten mine out enough to measure. Let's see.
Like Tom said the other day, he wears like a 12 and a half ring. I wear a 13.
7 inches for me. 7 1/4.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there.
Mine's 10 1/4.
Yeah. I'm right there too, 10 1/4.
Okay, well, I quit talking about it.
It's 10. If I do it on top, it's 10 1/4.
I guess I got little hands after all. Jesus.
And I wear a size 14.
You're hanging out with a
You said 13. Now you say 14, man. What the hell?
I wear 14.
Over there in seconds when we talk, or what?
No, 13 ring. I wear a size 13 ring. My shoes are 14.
Oh, I was going to say, it depends if he measures or his wife measures. How big?
Dude, I got hobbit feet, man. My feet are as wide as they are long.
Oh, you just got club feet.
Yep. 9 1/2. That's it.
So you're a hobbit.
Oh no.
Did you find that lead out? What was you looking for, Steve? A lead out jig?
No, what it is that you get 16th inch copper tubing.
Okay.
And you slide it over, you anneal it.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Actually,
Okay, what do you mean anneal it? Get it red hot and let it cool down, or what?
Yeah, that softens it.
Yeah, you get it cut to length, and I'd say you'd probably want to make it an inch, 1 1/4. And then you soften it, and then you slide it over, and then you just bend it. On Stunthangar, they kind of round it and then make like a straight part, and then tie it like regular. Well, what you can do then is get them perfect. It ain't trying to get it around that little ass eyelet, or whatever you want to call it, and then get them even. You can set there once that's been around through there. You can pull that. You can adjust them both even. Bring that back. Start wrapping the wire, and it's so much easier.
Yeah, it works just as good. It won't straighten it out, Tom. That's what Tom was worried about. When the plane pulled on it, it was going to distort it.
I don't know how to get a picture. I could try to send you a picture. I did it on the bell crank. Is how I'm doing them on the bell crank now.
Yeah, I do I've been the wire. I've been this tubing. I put the wire in the tubing and then bend the tubing.
Just do that and quit worrying about
the wire in the tubing and then bend the tubing.
Just do that, Tom, and quit worrying about the thimbles.
Yeah. You're going to like it so much better. It's so easier, much easier to hook your lines on.
Hey,
It doesn't straighten it out. Hold on.
Someone's got a like
Terry.
a buzz,
How's it going?
a noise in here. Do you hear it, anybody?
That came in with Terry.
It came. Yeah.
Should I go off and come back in?
I don't know. Let's see if it clears up. I'm not sure if I think it's you, but I'm not sure. Hang on, let me mute you and see if that is what happens. Hang on just a second. I can't mute you.
Huh.
I don't think it's a problem.
I don't hear the noise.
Hey,
Yeah,
went
I
away.
don't hear it either. It's gone away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say something, Terry.
10:20.
Something.
Hello.
Oh, he is muted. Okay.
Well, that's why.
Hey, Rusty. I don't know if I can show it to you inside of here or not.
Okay, I'm clicked on you, Steve.
I don't know. Is it showing up? I can't.
Okay. I can see it, but it's not a. Yeah. You had it right there pretty good for a second.
Yeah. I
There,
see it in there.
Stop right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah. That's. I do my bell cranks like that.
Yeah, do the lead outs the same way.
Yeah. These lead outs just like that.
But I always use Tom Morris lines because they're easy. But if you get your lead outs 100% even, anytime you grab a set of Tom Morris lines, you can stick on there and everything's right back to neutral.
Mm-hmm. That's why I like Tom's lines, because I never have to worry about them being unequal.
Different length. Yeah, I don't know how he does it, but whoever does it for him does a good job. But yeah, I like that with the 16th inch wire. John Parrish showed me that. Once I did one, it's like the last airplane I did on, I crashed it. Don't keep them from crashing.
It is coming from you, Terry. Why don't you log off and log back in and see if it clears out?
All right. All right. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, is that what that beeping was?
That
Yeah.
Popping,
background chatter,
popping,
like
clicking.
something.
Hey, Rusty.
Yeah.
Yes, this is what it looks like right now.
Oh, that looks good.
I don't have it glued on. I just got it pinned, but just to give you an idea of the rudder shape.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be all right. Not to tip the twister.
It's looking good.
That freaking Kaiser blade rudder that's normally on
What do you have to do? You put the cable and run it through the tubing first, and then bend it over.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
And then to adjust the length, you can still slide the cable a little bit. Just you might have to use some needle nose pliers gently, but and slide it back and forth to the exact same length.
Yeah, what I usually do is cut it to length and then anneal it, because when I annealed it first and then try to cut it with an X-Acto, it makes it soft and it was harder to cut. Because I just always stick an X-Acto blade on it and roll it back and forth and cut tubing that way.
Oh, so I need to cut it first, anneal it, and then I bend it.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. You might, you could probably take a Dremel tool and zip it off that way after it's annealed. But I just cut me, like a 2-inch piece, and then anneal it. And it doesn't have to be annealed that much. It doesn't take much to anneal copper. Basically, I do it with my lighter. You don't want to.
I got brass here.
Real
I
hot.
need to get copper.
Huh?
I got brass right here. I need to get copper then, huh?
Yeah.
I use copper because copper bends it, but
I've used both.
I got copper right here.
But just try a little piece. Cut like a 2-inch piece and get you a piece of scrap wire or something and stick in it and see if you can bend it around your thumb or something, you know, get something, a bowl or something the size you want without cranking, you know.
Or a K&S wire bender actually works pretty well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, do it that way too. Then put in a KS wire bender and bend a radius in it. But brass would work just as good as copper. It's just and out there he's not making that noise.
Any noise?
No, I don't hear nothing. Oh yeah, no, it's back.
Yeah, there it goes. It's crackling. It's like it's a loose connection, but it sounds almost like crosstalk.
You sound like an Imperial Pro Droid.
It's clear for right now. Yeah, a little bit back.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, it's better now.
Wow.
Okay.
It's probably just connection. That's all it be. It might just be connection.
Well, we had those storms that came through. You guys are down here now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, boy.
Had them tornadoes Saturday.
Listen, man, weird stuff, dudes. A lot of microbursts. Never seen this before, and I've studied the weather my whole life.
It looked
And
like
I'm a pilot. Who knows the weather better than pilots?
Hello, Wally.
Hey, Wally.
Yeah, my best flying buddy is a pilot. I've learned so much from him about the weather.
Yep.
That's
Plus,
how
I
I
fly
learned to deal with
sailplane.
thermals. That's how I know what to do when thermals blow through.
That's why I love flying RC sailplanes, because of the thermals.
He's been through. Yeah, I've been learning about sailplanes too, and watching him because he's really gotten into the hobby heavy lately, and he's gonna go to a couple of contests pretty soon.
That's an expensive hobby, sailplane.
Yeah, I'm big into it.
I can't believe what they pay for some of them, the models. Holy cow!
Yeah, I don't do any of those.
They've got some high tech stuff now.
Oh yeah, there's no question.
I got to
Stuff
step
out of
away
the
for a second.
Ukraine.
I got to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
But yeah, we got ice here, sleet. We got about 6 inches of sleet, but we only lost power twice, but it was only for like 30 seconds. It come right back on. So, but I was prepared for 3 days of no power.
Well, I'm from Kenosha originally, right? You know where that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had more snow in the last 2 days than they've ever had in 133 years. I get the digital newspaper from the hometown, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just amazing.
Well, me and my brother were talking about it. 1982, I went to Switzerland. I was over there skiing. Well, they had no snow. And on my mom's birthday, which is April 12th, I called my mom to wish her happy birthday. And she goes, "Guess what your brother's doing?" I'm like, "What's that?" She goes, "He's riding your snowmobile."
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "What?" And it was in '82. We had them huge snowstorms that I missed when I was over there. They had no snow in Europe. And then now this year, the same thing. It was the 15th, but late in the month like that,
yeah,
we get all this snow.
That's crazy.
I'd rather have the snow though than the freezing rain.
Oh yeah. Well, I'd rather be here in Florida, except for the hurricanes. But it's like they say. Listen, there's a hurricane. It'll be here a week from Thursday. It still is a nasty thing, but they give you a little warning.
Well, you guys, after the hurricane, when was it? Last fall or last year when they had the hurricane?
Yeah. August.
We went back there while we were down there around Christmas time, and everything was still kind of flooded, fields and all that kind of stuff along the river and everything.
Yep.
But I guess now with all the rain you guys have been getting, that stuff is even more flooded than it was After
Yeah,
the
it like especially the fact I've been doing a lot of flying in a friend's new Kit Fox. I don't know if you're familiar with that home built.
yeah.
Yeah, well, they have the new one, the Mark IV. It has the new Rotec 150 horse radial. What a sweet running motor, I'm telling you. And he's got it painted up like a 30s GB racer. So we've been out flying the time off it, and it has a lot to do with the water management. It's I don't know. Except I don't think I would be buying property in New Orleans anytime soon.
Yeah, it was so weird because when my uncle was sick, me and my dad went down there, and that had to be 14 years ago. No, damn, 17 years ago. And we went by the old farm, and I still have cousins that farm and stuff like that. But all the ponds were completely dried up.
Wow.
That, in High Springs area, that's where Blue Springs around there, and Jenny and East Putney, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, all that stuff was flowing real slow, and all the ponds.
They had that drought back then. I was down here. I came down in 1969 when I got out of the military. I had enough with Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
So I came down here, and but I came down with the airlines also, so that was part of it. But anyway, I my parents had investments down here, but and I'm up here in Jupiter, which is northern Palm Beach County, actually to Cuesta, and we're the closest to the Gulf Stream. It's just fantastic. In fact, I'll send you a really neat video on a friend of my son's, and she's an attractive young girl that free dives down 60 feet and spears fish and gathers lobsters and things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now is Jupiter, that's south of Tampa?
Well, we're on the other coast. This is East Coast, yeah. Straight across.
It's straight across from Tampa?
Maybe a little further south.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I go over to Tampa quite a bit.
Yeah, we went there to Busch Gardens last year.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been to Tampa. I had a good time. I had a fun
That's a
time.
nice city.
Yeah, we went to Busch Gardens, 9 o'clock in the morning. Samantha had on shorts and t-shirt. I just had a t-shirt on. It was about 70 degrees. By 1 o'clock, it had gotten down to 50-some degrees. And we went,
oh my God.
We had extra clothes in the car and went back and put clothes on so we could finish out the day. But it was warmer at 9 in the morning than it was there.
Wow.
In the afternoon.
It's weird. Just
well, the weather on this coast is better because we get the Gulf Stream, and it's really the moderator.
Oh,
it's always running in about 78 degrees to 80 degrees.
Yeah, you said that you were closer to the Gulf Stream than any other piece of land in the country.
That is correct. Jupiter, yes, sir. Jupiter Inlet.
The Gulf
brushes right on the beach.
That's the Gulf. I'm thinking of the jet stream. The Gulf Stream, the water part coming.
Correct.
Okay.
And we don't have to go 20 miles to get depth. You get just a couple hundred yards off the beach, and you're already at the third or fourth reef. And then when you get out to the trench, it goes from 200 feet to over 3,000. The Bahamian Trench.
Oh, holy cow.
Yeah, and that's where all the big fish, that's where all the pelagics live. You know what I mean? The
so was the trench caused by the Gulf Stream, or is the Gulf Stream caused by?
They think it's part of the tectonic plate action.
Oh, yeah.
Is that where they fish for the big old groupers and stuff?
Well, yeah, they're there, but they're more. They normally don't go out that deep. I'm sure they are, but they have this area is one of my favorite dives. It's at 70 feet. It's called the Double Ledges, and it used to be the old beach. So I don't know if you know what a blowhole is through the coral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, these are old blowholes, but they're underwater now, and there's all these caves. I was 14 years old, and I just had got my deep water certification down here, okay, U.S. diver certification. Yeah. So they put me in the front of this. They say, okay, we're going to show you the giant Jewfish or groupers, okay? Back then they called them Jewfish, but that's not proper, so we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm by this opening, and I really couldn't see in there. And they told me, don't flash your light because you'll freak them out. And they were going to go in and get some pictures. So I was to stand in this opening so they wouldn't come out. Well, when my friends got through the couple upper holes and their flashes went off on their Nikonos cameras, these things that I thought were boulders wanted out of there. And I was between them and the side of the wall. And when they crushed me and not only wiped my mask off and knocked the wind out of me and my regulator out of my mouth, but I got so slimed with fish slime. But these were 1,000-pound fish that wanted out of there. Let me tell you, they got out.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Just amazing. And then they almost wiped them to extinction when they came out with power heads and they were selling the meat commercially. But now they're protected and they're not quite as big as little Volkswagens anymore, but they're about half that size now.
Yeah,
the big problem is the lionfish. See, that's what I'm after now is the lionfish.
Oh, yeah, them aren't from around here. I heard that someone let them out and they're reproducing like crazy.
Yeah, and they're real tasty, and we've got special gear to get them, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's I go at high tide to Jupiter Inlet, and I do the snorkel, and you go just as the high tide is getting, so you get like a gentle push up the rocky part, and then you're stable for about 15 minutes, and then it starts flowing out. And then you're in the water about 35 minutes. And usually I've emptied my bag twice. And that's 60 or 65 lionfish.
There's that many of them. They breed that fast.
As quickly as we clean the inlet out, after one night and 2 high tides, there's new ones back into the crevices where they're ones you took out the day or so before.
Holy cow.
Yeah, there's no natural predator for them. And most of them got released during Hurricane Andrew. That was in the early 80s. Down by Miami because people had them as aquarium fish. And they didn't want to see them die, and they were real expensive. All these Madagascar lionfish. So they let them go into the intercoastals. Now they're everywhere.
Holy cow. But they do taste good, though?
Oh, they're excellent, but you have to be careful of their spines.
Yeah.
They'll sting you, yeah.
And we've got that problem here with introduced species, and on land it's things like the possums that have come in here from Australia, and you remove them, and they just come back as quick as you remove them. They just keep
it's
pulling.
Incredible.
And as far as aquatic life goes, they've got things like the freshwater carp that people have brought in, and they just lay havoc too, and then introduce birds like a little parrot that's come from Oz as well, and the Rosella parrot. They quickly move in and dominate a place where there's no natural predators. It changes the ecosystem quite quickly.
Oh, it's incredible.
Well, yeah, they got that carp that got away that are in the Ohio River and stuff like that. They're trying to keep from getting in Lake Michigan, but yeah, a friend of mine said that he about got knocked out of the boat by one. They jump in the air.
Yeah, they jump. They can trigger them, just the waves or the sound of the motor causes them to jump. It's crazy. It gets big.
I guess they come from China or whatever.
Yep.
But I guess that they net them there and stuff, and they use them for dog food and cat food.
Yep. Well, you know,
boy.
like if we could get them like and net them up, you could take and use them on the farm fields and what organic fertilizer.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm surprised somebody hasn't tried to catch them and sell them for something.
You know, we had that alewife problem when I lived in Kenosha on Lake Michigan.
Oh, man.
When they opened
I
up
remember
the
that when I was a
St.
kid.
Lawrence. And we as scouts and stuff went down to the beaches because it was right across from my house and shoveled up all those dead fish. And we took them, and we had a garden in the backyard. My dad said, just put a few loads in the backyard. But let me tell you, we put that year's leaves over the top, and that garden produced for about 5 years like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it was amazing.
When I was a kid, too, my dad would always caught a carp. He'd always
Yep.
bring it home and plant it in my mom's rose bush.
Oh, yeah, excellent rose food.
Yep. Always had them carps, and we'd bury them there in the rose bushes.
We used to shoot them with our bows. We had, of course, the old recurves then with the bear. It was a spool that went on your stabilizer in front,
Yeah.
just a spool. We used to shoot them up at a Camp Lake.
Yeah. Well, when we were kids, we could do that too with coal hole.
Oh, yeah.
You could snag them and everything, but they stopped all that. You can't snag them anymore, and
No.
you can't take them with a bow.
Yeah, lake trout too.
Yeah.
That used to be open, but then I think I was in junior high and they shut it off.
Anybody want to buy a Fox 50 or a Magnum 45?
Is that a plain bearing Magnum?
It's I don't know. It's a Magnum Pro 45.
That's a ball bearing.
Yeah.
Did it say Magnum Pro?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the pros are ball bearing.
And I got this old ass unidentified Fox. I'm getting all kind of arguments online, and it's a 40.
Jesus,
It's a
Wally
45,
on here.
it's a
Wally
50.
could tell you what that is.
Let's see the back of it.
Oh, it's a coffin
let me see
back.
the back. Hold it still. It's a coffin back, but it's one of the earlier ones, isn't it?
Yeah. The only markings on it is Fox on the flange venturi. That's it. Or card, whatever.
Mark 10 card.
It's one of their early
I saw
RC
Wally
models.
trying to check in a little while ago, but I don't see him.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it could be a 40, could be 45, could be a 50, but the 50s were normally the later darker case, the sandblasted case.
Yeah, I think it's in the 40 range.
It could be a 46 too.
Right. Yep, I think it's in the 40 range.
You'd have to see if
no other stampings on it or nothing.
Now, can you look? Oh, you have to look on there. Can you see if it's a ringed or non-ringed?
Man, if I could fit a Phillips in there, I mean, a flathead. Let me see. I might be able to do it. Because I tell you what, this is about the most worthless engine that's at my house, and it's my dad's. And he bought it because he's an idiot.
Well, very good, motor.
Your dad
Here's
is
one.
never an idiot. Dads are always smart.
Oh, no, they're smart, all right. He was smart.
God,
But he's just not smart with money. There we go.
Hey, listen.
Here's
Harbor
one
Freight
there.
has these airbrushes.
What? What's that, Gerald?
Oh, I was just going to say to Jamie, there's my one there on my model there. Same coffin back, 40, 45, oh, it's a 40, that one. That's on my big Vindicator profile model, and that runs well. It's a nice running motor.
Now, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, this thing got some great compression to it. I'm not going to lie, but
Is that the same back, Gerald? Is the one he had the same back? That's what I
Same
thought.
back, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
he
quite
did
right.
like a 45 too. He was messing around with different sleeves because I remember I picked one up thinking it would swap out, and it ended up being like a 45, and I needed the 40 sleeve.
There's a 50 as well.
Yeah, that's right. And it was all the same case.
Yeah.
all the same
No.
case.
Once upon a time, I had a tiny little flathead. I don't know where the hell it went to now.
Terry, what is that from Harbor Freight?
Yeah, listen, I was over there on Sunday, and I was watching the. I sent you an email, Steve, on the painting thing because I had to watch it after the fact. So when I was in there the other day, I know the manager, and he said, "Hey, listen, with the new tariff," he said, "you better go get on it." He says, "And Pache's real upset with us about that airbrush." This is a dual action Pache copy. It's under $20, and if you go in with a 20% coupon, and I mean this is the second one. I picked one up Easter Sunday, and then I just got one yesterday.
I don't know if I was telling everybody about that Friday or not.
No, that's where I heard it. And then I decided to check them out.
Is that what all comes with that, Terry? Has that got a regulator in it too?
No. It's just the brush. It's the brush, and you get the cup and a wrench and the little bottle.
Oh, okay.
But I tell you what, you won't believe how good that works. I mean,
I tried the first one. That's it. Like I tried the one I picked up on Easter Sunday, and I couldn't log on to tell you, hey, I picked up one that's like unbelievable good. So what I did is I picked up a second one now. So one is going to be for acrylics, and one I'm using for my enamels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
George Gonzalez just joined us. It's the first time we've seen him since we started going unlisted, and from Colombia, South America.
Nice gentleman.
So,
nice
hi,
gentleman.
George. Glad to have you back, buddy. I was afraid that maybe you weren't able to find us when we started doing the shows unlisted. And tell me, are you a member of Stunthangar so that you can get the links when we do go unlisted? I'll type that question to you too.
Let me put that this way.
I'm going to pick me up another one then, Terry. I mean, I might even get 2 of them.
Well, listen,
have 3 of the damn
under $20, and when you look and you feel the quality and it has the adjustable flow in the back.
Yeah.
And listen, I shouldn't mention the name again, but I have spare needles. It's all interchangeable.
Oh, I know it.
So,
yeah, you can do the different size tips and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a hell of it. Everybody says, oh, WADA and all this kind of stuff, and I've used them. And I use that thing, and I'm like, oh, my God. For less than $20.
You can see pieces from all of them because I think they're all made over there. And no insult to Badger or any of those other companies.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I like my WADA, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no. And I do styrene too, Jamie. I love it, man. I'm doing the Trumpeter U-boat, the 55-inch long one. I'm on my second compartment.
Well, what I kind of like with why I want to get a couple of them is that if I do clear or if I do white, I like to leave them just for clear or white.
Yep.
And then have something else for colors.
And
because I
get
have
yourself some of that windshield washer fluid at Walmart. That's what I use to clean my acrylics. I mean, I use the alcohol too first, but then instead of buying that expensive airbrush cleaner, that's all you need, man.
I use Windex.
Same thing. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Windex knocks it right out. Because I use it to meet acrylics and it works.
Yep. Yeah, I do those too, but I'm doing some MIG now. Some MIG and Createx. Wicked colors. Wicked.
I like the mix stuff.
Listen, don't you paint baits? Jamie, I paint baits. I'm a fisherman. Come on. I make my own. Here's one where are you here? Get over here. Here's one I carved the other night when I was just talking on the phone to somebody. I'm going to resin it and get it painted.
You just whittle it?
Yeah, this is whittled out of. Actually, it's a piece of the. I have a friend who's smokes expensive cigars, and I asked him to save the spacer wood that's in the boxes because it's like it's a very light wood, but it's real hard. It's like 10 times harder than balsa. I guess it's a form of cedar, but it's nice to carve with, and you can carve it. And
I never thought about putting a propeller on my wheel paints before.
well, yeah, give it a try, man.
Well,
Hey,
sorry, Jim.
There's a video on how that works.
Bring it up
Yeah.
again.
Be like a Stuka. Make a noise.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
I've heard different stories about what those little props on the Stuka were, but on the model, it said they were generator props.
Yeah,
Well, they had sirens on them. You know, if you go to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, they got one hanging there.
Yeah.
And you can see the sirens, and they do have the 2 propeller generators, though, too. But they had sirens on them, man, just for terror.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we got tonight. That's the brand.
Very good. Cratex. I love it. I've been using it on my boats and even on my, you know, I love the P-47s. Now, Top Flight just came out with the, not the Thunder, the
Razorback.
No, the Hellcat or the Wildcat.
Yeah, then she's going with like I don't know if that's teal, some kind of a green, purple, and we got black, and I bought a big one of white.
Very good. Here's a secret from the styrene guys. Get some of these cheapy plastic white spoons. This is what you test your paint on.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a perfect white surface. And it's smooth, so it doesn't require... I don't like buffing it because it's a pretty smooth surface, and you can tell on if you have your paint thinned out too much.
Oh, I see. Hey, good.
Yeah.
Thanks for the idea.
Yeah. So you do it like this, and if it flows away, you got... You know what I do? I tend to get my paint where it's over thinned, and then I put 1 or 2 drops in to bring it perfect of the regular paint in the little cup on the, you know, your little cup. Yeah. Unless you're going to mix a batch. But when I'm painting stripes and stuff on boats, the little cup that comes with the airbrush is all you need.
Now, when you thin this, is it about a 50-50 thin to start off with?
Yeah, 50-50 to start.
Okay.
And I like using, you can use water, you can use isopropyl, but I like to use the alcohol fuel because I got enough humidity here in Florida, so I don't need any humidity. I want the carrier to evaporate before the paint hits the model. I want a nice fine atomization, and I want the carrier to go away. And then between coats and before I pull tape off, you set it with a hair dryer because those microscopic paint particles will fuse at about 120 degrees. We do it on all the fish baits before any color change. Hit it with the heat gun. And you can, like if you don't, you can take and scrape the paint with your nail. It has a chalky consistency, but once you set it with the heat gun, now it's gone to a solid piece of acrylic because it's melted those microscopic particles together. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah,
and you can get real thin and light.
We bought this high performance reducer also.
That's good. Use it.
Yeah.
It's just expensive.
Like, we'll try some stuff.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
That Fox is ringed.
Oh, yeah.
The Fox has a ring in it?
Yeah.
Okay,
it might be a 45.
Probably a 45.
Yep, I guess it's a 45. I wish
Well,
Wally was
first person
here,
to
John.
offer up a Macaulay 35 gets it.
Hey, I love McCoy's, man. I got like 9 flights on my new one. Nice.
Gerald
There
delivered
it is.
the OTS museum at Gerald's
Gerald's
house.
got him. He's got it.
Yeah, that one's a 40 with the early bypass. I think Jamie's one's a later one. It's a different bypass.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, probably a 40 as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
It has monster compression, but Dad was one that converted the control line. I told him, you gotta, if you can get somebody to make the control for that flange, you know, tell him what you're gonna pay for it. So I told him either sell it or try to trade it off for like an old Fox 35 or something, because he likes them older.
OS 95. Was that an OS 95?
No, this is the OS 46 AX that I'm putting in the big Voodoo 3 with the 2-channel radios.
Okay. What AX has changed from whenever I flew.
What's that? I didn't hear you. You were breaking up.
That AX is a lot different than the AX I used to fly in my Eagle 2.
You know, I've ran it on the test stand and just flawless, you know.
I mean, like, it looks different. And then again, it's been 10 years since
yeah.
That like a newer
$150,
model?
and then I had a coupon from Tower for 10% or something.
You see that one,
shipping.
Terry? I want to put that.
Ooh, nice. Whoa, is that nice?
Put that in a big Ringmaster.
Wow. Tell me that's not an old pattern airplane motor.
It is. It was a brand new old pattern airplane.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I used to fly pattern.
Because he also got this KMB 45.
Oh,
nice motor. I love K&Bs.
Yeah, they got a great compression. And KMB 65 he has.
Yeah.
And what she was wanting to keep it for one of the top flight P-51 Gold editions. He has the kit.
There's a 45 I converted to control line.
Nice job. Well, so is that an OS parts or did you make a part for it?
The interior, I mean, OS needle valve, and it's got a bit of alloy tube with another bit of alloy tube inside it. And
very nice. Yeah, I recognize a custom night. That's nice. I love it.
Oh.
Very simple.
Have you ever ran the was it the KMB 26? Wasn't that the sports KMB 26 Sportster?
That was the Sportster motor, yeah.
But now we've flown a bunch of them in control line, and they really do. They do nice.
They do well. Yep.
Yeah, because he got this big
go out.
The KMB
big old 65. Big old thing.
That's got a good sound to it. That's a nice motor.
Yeah, it's got a healthy pop to it.
He wants to use it in a top flight P-51. And so I don't know if it'll barely make the cut. I told him you better build it light, you know.
Yeah.
Because I know like a 60 is like the minimum.
Yeah, I built a bunch of those top flight kits. The 60 P-51, the B version, and the bubble canopy, the D.
Yeah, he has the gold edition he's been having for God knows how many years.
Yeah. Well, now you can get the robot electric retracts. That's what I'm putting in my next P-47. In fact, I wish Wally was on here because I was going to show him. Yeah, I mean, I used a lot of the pneumatics, especially back when Steve will tell you in the pattern days, you know.
Yeah.
But the electrics make it so easy, and you can get more scale look out of it.
And what I used to do is because I was in heating and air conditioning, we'd fill that tank with liquid R12.
Oh my God! Yeah, nice. Well, then you wouldn't have to fill it all day.
Well, you know, remember when you used to get a plumbing leak and then the retracts would come down or whatever?
Yeah, they'd start one at a time dropping. They're halfway through your thing.
Yeah, so I ended up starting to use that. We got people using it, so if there's a little bit of a leak, it would take like 10 hours for it to all leak out.
Yeah. No, it's a good system. Why not, man?
But then they made it illegal to blow off R12 into the atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah.
The electric retracts are on the way to go. All the modern electric planes. I think Bob Hunt started using electric retracts a while back. and said it made quite a difference to the cleanliness of the model, the way it performed.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah. Yeah. I got the ones from E-Flight. They work good. I know that the Robart will fit in. That was the big thing. My brother's looking at getting the electrics because he's got the Robart pneumatics, and he didn't want to carve on his ring and stuff. You know, to put in new retract.
Yeah, to fit them in. You got to kind of do it in the initial part. It's hard to retrofit them.
Right. So the Robart, I guess, are built on the old frames, and they'll drop right in.
Yeah. So they'll, like, it's a swap out. They really did a good job of the engineering.
Yeah.
You know, this past week, I should say, was Sun and Fun here in Lakeland. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. The EAA flying.
No.
And
yeah, I heard of it.
I had a chance. I rode up yesterday, and a friend of mine just got his plane back with new motors. And talking about the landing gear, we took off. He's got a 414. It's got twin turboprops, and we were light, and that's the nice way to fly an airplane instead of like a commercial pilot where you're loaded to the gills always. But the plane took off, and he hadn't really opened it up yet because it just had been delivered from Atlanta. So I went with him, and we're flying, and as soon as, you know, I thought we were moving, and we were both looking at each other because we were still getting pushed back in the seat. But as soon as we hit the gear, like I pulled the gear up, it's just like you kicked it in the butt. As soon as that gear disappeared, then the props really started biting in, and the thing, I couldn't believe it. The performance increased. Well, new props and two new motors. So,
yeah.
You know, but as soon as the plane cleaned up, I mean, just, and you know, I know this, everybody knows that that's why you retract the gear.
Oh, I know it. I mean, you know, in RC, you can really tell when the gear came up.
Oh yeah.
But they were saying that, in control line, they're doing these airplanes with the electric retracts in them, and they're using 20% less battery.
See, it's easier to pull it through the air with that drag going.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all later. I got to run. I'm already stayed on too late that I was supposed to.
All right, take it easy, James. We'll see the airplane all built by Friday.
Yep. And
what's that?
Nice job so far. I saw you on the video. Nice job on the twister.
Oh, it's getting there.
Yeah, you're going to love that plane.
Take your time, man. You'll love it.
Yeah, it's getting there. I would say if all goes well, I hope to have it primed by whatever, but every time I say that, I don't work on it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, me too.
But it'll be what it'll be.
Life's roller coaster.
Oh,
hey, thank God for modeling, man.
Oh, you did the islets anyway, huh, Tom?
Huh?
You did the islets instead, huh?
Yeah, I went with a smaller one.
I stole a Tower 40 yesterday on eBay for $12.
Oh my God.
And it was already set up as a combat motor.
Oh, no.
Line. Already had the Venturi on it and all.
Oh,
they're pretty solid engines. They're not the lightest, but I love them. I got a couple of them. We've got one on an old Sterling Mustang with flaps, and it hauls it around with authority.
So, yeah, since I'm already getting one from somebody, either the one I'm getting would be going on this one, or depending on what I want to get off eBay, might be going to ending up on this one. Hey, if not that, I still got this Max 3 OS 35.
Oh, that's nice.
Classic motor.
It's got plenty of compression.
Good night, Bob. I'll see you later. Bob's checking out. And George from Columbia said he can't seem to join Stunthangar, so I told him to send me the information. That goes to anybody that's listening. If you can't get into Stunthangar, then email me the name you're going to register with and the email you're going to register with, and I will see that it gets expedited. And I posted my email address a few posts back up in the chat box. Ah, there's George's email just came in now. Excellent.
So
yeah,
Tom, you decided not to use the tubing, huh? You decided not to do the tubing?
Nope.
So yeah,
Decided not
if I don't
to.
throw that
Steve-
40 on that twister, this 35 is gonna do it.
You're using like music wire lead out.
Huh?
Steve said he was. I was just trying to log on. I was dealing
No,
with my wife.
I take the regular lead out and put it through 16th-inch copper tube.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and
Loop it around and
into
then
a
bring 'em in.
teardrop and wire wrap it. Works
Yep.
great.
Wire wrap it just like normal, and it's
Yep.
beautiful.
That's fine. Yep. Well, we use a lot of the stainless nylon, or now it's not Kevlar, fluorocarbon coated, braided stainless leader, and I get it by a spool. And I've been using that stuff, and it's, I don't know, 500 pound, I think, is the one we use. We have it up to 1,500.
Sure.
But that's what Sparky was using.
Oh,
You can get
okay.
it at Bass Pro Shops, or I don't know if your Walmart up there has it, but our Walmart here has a big saltwater section.
Was it 15,000? Is that what it is?
I think so. 15 or 18, I think you can get it. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. I just built some bell crank things here for the kits I'm putting out here.
Oh, okay.
But I can, I'll take a picture of it and email it to you. And if you can't find it, just let me know and I'll stick a spool in the mail to you. And when you see me, you can, whatever.
Yeah, we were getting some through Hobby Parts, and I forget how much you got for $1, but that's what it was, like a plastic coated cable,
Yeah, that's what this is.
and it worked really well.
They have the little fittings, the little swedges that we make terminal tackle with. Rusty knows this. He's a fisherman. He's made terminal tackle. And I use that stuff inside the wing, and it'll pass any pull test. I still wrap it because I like the looks of it. And if you look in with a scope, and the AMA guys are always real excited, although I don't compete much. But I'm going to do some exhibition flying, Wally and I, with these super duper voodoos. So,
Okay.
yeah. I picked up more colors of the streamer the other day, too. Man, that stuff's awesome.
Yeah, I want me one of those voodoos, man. I got a serious crush on them after watching you guys show them off on here. If I want one, I guess I got to build one. I just can't wish one into life.
Well, you can. Sometimes you get your wish. Sometimes, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all.
Yeah, we were last year. We were flying a little bit of combat, so Samantha always puts a pink streamer on hers, and Dick had a black one. So we got them all running and good and stuff, messing around. So they're going to have a match. Well, he had a special streamer for hers that was twice as long, but they're rolled up so you can't tell.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we launch, and next thing you know, her airplane's taking off, and all of a sudden he's coming on and just cutting the shit out of her because her streamer's so long that the airplane won't go. She's yelling, "That ain't fair! That ain't fair!"
Yeah, I love it.
Minnesota Mike's with us. He says he's feeling good again. He's had a rough winter like me, man. Or worse. I think I wouldn't trade what I had for what he had. But good, Mikey. We're glad to see you showing up again.
Oh, my buddy there, Tom met him, who won the beginner there at the Nance. Tom, he got meningitis.
What?
Pat won the beginner at the Nats. somehow got spinal meningitis.
Holy crap.
That's
No,
nasty.
That's dangerous.
That's
I went over to his house.
dangerous.
He's at home now. I went over to his house tonight.
Man, a friend of mine got that, and he's confined to the wheelchair.
That's the viral one. I guarantee it.
Oh, man.
You know, he got the viral one. And
Temporarily, I hope.
That's
how long
awful.
has it been since he's had it?
Quite a few, probably 2 or 3 decades.
Oh, well. That's
Oh man.
Good.
Yeah,
Still.
Pat said that he went in and his blood pressure was just super high and everything. And they're trying to figure out what's wrong with him. And they're checking him for his blood count, and it was okay and stuff like that. And they're looking for in his blood for bacterial meningitis. Nothing showed up for that or fungal. And they ended up doing a spinal tap, figured out he had it. And they started giving him steroids because they said with viral, there's nothing they can really give you
Yeah.
unless they know what kind it is. They couldn't figure it out. But the steroids worked, and he said he finally, could kind of hear and stuff like that because it was really affecting his hearing and everything.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
that sounds
dangerous
horrible.
disease, man.
That sounds horrible.
It's a dangerous disease.
And it's like the second time he's had it, and they don't know how he keeps catching it.
Wow. That's
I'll pass.
wild.
Well, the virus can get in your system and suddenly become symptomatic, and your immune system can suppress it, but it never really goes away. It's just waiting for a sudden drop in your immune system to get a grip again. And so, yeah, it's always scary. The static sound, Minnesota Mike is asking, that is actually Terry's system. If I'm muting,
is it making a sound again?
Yeah.
it never quit. It never did quit. But yeah, if I mute your mic on my side, it clears up. But and it does it when everybody talks. I don't know. I can't.
Well, I can sign off because I don't want to.
I don't do that.
No.
We've been talking with it. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, no biggie.
This is the older 6 phone. My wife won't let me bring the new i8 out here anymore. She said, "Oh no, that one doesn't go out there."
You scared to get epoxy all over it or something?
Well, the other night you said, "Boy, that's a great picture."
Yeah.
That's great eye. I said, "Oh yeah, that's the new phone."
Yeah.
I'll have it out next time. The heck with it.
I got epoxy on my finger.
And Gerald, happy birthday to you.
Oh.
I'm just down the road from you. I'm on VE Day on the 8th.
A few people were in April then.
Yeah, well, I'm May 8th. And I think I'm the oldest guy here. Not that I want to be.
How old are you, Terry?
Well, I'll be 70 in May.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me beat by a few years. I bet I'm second in line. I'm 62.
Well, you don't look 62. I think we're all going to stay. Just keep flying those planes.
Yeah, I've been flying a little bit.
Yeah, I get it. I love it.
How old are you, Tom? About 56?
53.
53? Yeah, the young. He builds faster than the rest of us. The young.
Hey, I got something wrong with these lead outs, man.
What'd you do?
They turned out to be perfectly neutral.
Oh boy, how weird. Let me get a close up on that.
How did that happen?
How old are you, Gerald? In your 40s?
They look good, Tom.
Thank you.
Gerald, are you in your 40s?
I don't know about you guys, but
52.
52.
52 I dipped mine in alphabetic glue or alpha,
Aliphatic.
type bond.
Aliphatic glue, yeah.
Yeah.
I usually mix up a little 5-minute epoxy and just put it on my fingers and lightly coat the outside, but you don't want to put glob on it because you don't want to make a stress riser. And you also don't want to let it get so it traps moisture inside, but just enough to keep the things from coming unwound.
Yeah, I read that in Stunt. That's what a guy did.
That 5 minutes stays flexible. It's real good stuff.
Yeah.
What about I cover mine with shrink tubing?
Huh?
I do mine with heat shrink tubing.
Yeah, that's okay,
you
but
can
you
do
might
that
trap
too.
moisture in it, and you.
Yeah, I don't like the heat shrink.
I want it to be visible.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's
I read that article.
a lot of places that want to inspect the wires, and they'll make you cut the heat shrink off.
Oh,
right.
See the wrap.
I read that article in Stunthangar. I think it was 2009, like in September or October issue, about a guy doing lead outs, and that's what he did. He just paint some type bond on there and be done with it.
That's probably good. Yeah, that might be better than epoxy like I use.
See, my airplanes never last long enough to get old, so I don't have to worry about any kind of deterioration.
Yeah, I know it. I just mainly want to do it just to give me a little peace of mind that I don't think the copper wire would ever vibrate or move or anything like that. But
I've also had to change lead outs on a few models because they're rusty old steel lead outs. And normally I'd made them up with stainless, so I normally use the stainless sticking trace to get some of the stuff to what Terry was talking about.
Have you guys
Here's where I get my wire for free.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's about 28 or 30 gauge, something like that.
Something like that. Wrap's fine.
Yeah, I buy mine at Walmart in the craft section.
Sure.
The one time I've ever bought it.
That's the same thing with me. I bought a roll of that stuff, and I think it'll last me the rest of my life.
Yeah. I just buy them already cut from Tom Morris because my old fingers ain't got what it takes to wrap them anymore. I can do the flying lines okay, but the lead outs you got to squeeze too hard and hold it too tight, and it works on me. I don't have a jig, so.
Well,
I made one of those jigs.
I got one of the jigs and stuff like that, and I used it, but I found out just that 16th inch tubing. You can, once you bend it around there, there's enough tension on it, you can adjust it perfect.
Yeah, you can.
Start the wind, and they're always perfect. And I'm like, oh man, I'm doing them this way now.
Yeah. I've done that on lots of half A's. I've never done it on one of the full size. Oh, well, I see Wally's posting over here. Sorry, guys. I can't get in for some reason. I'll try Friday. Says my computer's a mess. Anyway, I'll be watching for a while. All right, Wally. Thanks for watching.
We miss you, Wally.
So, Tom, what happened with that? What was that? Not a Banshee. What were you building there?
What's that? What here?
Yeah, you were cutting out a bunch of parts.
Oh, shoestring.
What happened with that?
Oh, it's right there.
Still in parts? Or
That's probably covered already.
I've got all the ribs. There were some ribs missing. I got them all made. I got everything sanded down, but I haven't reworked the leading edge yet.
Oh, okay.
That's been my hold up, and I've been thinking, I love the shoestring because it reminds me, the one I lost when I was a kid,
Yeah.
But stunt flying, trying to learn, I don't know.
It's really hard. I hadn't been able to get on, and I, listen to the videos and hear what's said. Even friends that comment and said, "Oh, they were talking about this or that." Some of us guys up north were lucky enough that when we got our first big size planes and we went to the field with the local guys, I had this man named Art who said, "Let me tune your plane." And he flew it for a couple little short, short fuels and played with it. And the thing that really distressed me is when he ripped my lines loose because they were the little brass tubes embroidered into the wing, and it was paper wing, and he ripped those loose and glued them, and we had to wait. And he had this old DeSoto car, and he gave me his keys to get some tools. I don't know if you remember those from the 50s, but they were like a battleship. But at any rate, we got to fly a model that was balanced out. I hear people talk about this, oh, my it's pulling too hard. Man, I mean, I don't know, man. Guys don't get the... How many people have gotten to fly Bob Hunt's airplane? To see what it feels like. How many people have got to fly Wendy's airplane to see what it feels like? I'm telling you, all this excessive pulling, you're wasting power. You're pulling out too much. Let the airplane fly. You don't need this excessive pressure on the handle. I get vertical maneuvers. I just started doing these cloverleaf things. I've never done them before because I don't fly stunt. But my stock Voodoo with a new McCoy 35 with 9 flights on it just hangs up there. I can do them all day. And the handle is loose in my hand until I initiate a turn, and then the handle tightens up.
I was having trouble with my P40 being too tight the other day. So maybe I should readdress that situation because it was really pulling like a horse. I attribute it to my weakness that I've developed over the winter. So maybe that can be remedied.
Oh
Yeah, I believe so.
I
was telling my brother that
I only go a degree, 1 degree on offset.
Is because they want line bend because their airplanes aren't trimmed right.
Correct. That's it exactly. Steve, you win the prize.
Yeah. And what it is that they're trying to get the minimal amount where they're losing it, and then you have too much every place else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in May, I'm going to Chicago, and David Fitzgerald is going to be there, and he's going to trim Samantha's airplane for her.
See, that's the secret. And I can't. I am not saying I can't fly stunt, but I haven't really tried the pattern. I've broken all the maneuvers down with these combat ships, and I was doing it with my Nobler with the Brodak 40 in it, which is that airplane is like a new airplane with that 40 Brodak. I mean, it is just what a motor that is. But the airplanes need to be trimmed correctly, and for somebody that grabs, tries to get into the hobby and just is experimenting on their own, they have no idea what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
And you don't need that excessive handle pressure. And I've seen so many videos of guys when the handle gets light, they yank on the handle. That's the worst thing you can do. Let the airplane fly through the arc. Start taking steps backward, but don't pull anything. Don't yank anything.
Right.
Step backward or maybe run backwards, depending on how it's going. Oh, that's a nice one.
Well, I set it up badly with the electric motor, and I had inboard thrust, and I had some exciting launches because I had to run backwards on each launch, trying to regain line tension because it would come roaring into the circle. But then once you built up enough speed, it was okay. It was with inboard thrust on the motor, and I've since corrected it, and I don't have those problems at launch. But it just goes to show, even with inboard thrust, as long as you're circulating quick enough, you still at line tension. But yeah, I had to glue it all back together after the black mechanism failed on it, and just touching up the paint on it, and I'll put the decals back on it again. So that's my Theory Firefly. But yeah, inboard thrust as well. Give you very easy takeoffs.
Yeah.
A friend of ours we met first was John DeTavio. And I swear
I've
to
seen
God,
John in the videos.
you could walk out. It looked like you could just walk out and grab his airplane out of the air when he was flying. He flew it so slow.
Yeah.
He'd fly like 5 8-second laps and fly the whole pattern. And it's like, how in the hell can that thing stay in the air?
Was he on long lines?
Yeah, 60 some feet, about 63, I think. 64 is a 65 ship. But he trimmed his airplane to where it never lost tension. And he's like, if we have it trimmed right, it ain't going to lose tension going up through there.
No, that's it. That's it exactly.
And it's the slowest flying I ever seen anybody. And he was always like, you never want to fly an airplane faster than 5.4. But everybody does now. But that was his whole thing. But yeah, 5.8. I timed it, and I'm like, damn, John, I can't believe you're flying that slow. I said, you need it. You get a bad needle. He goes, oh, that was right on. That was perfect.
It was efficient back in the 80s.
Hey.
Outside with the Super
You
Tiger
guys want
6.
to see what I built for my box?
Well, that looks good.
Oh, you built a stand.
Yeah, a little stand to put it on.
And I got my little
cool.
tray.
Very cool.
And then get tired of not having a work stand, man. Voila.
Hot dog.
Yep.
Nice.
And if I don't want it on my box,
Oh, you
Stick it in the ground. Nice.
I can just stick it right in the ground.
Very nice.
That's what this is the kind of stuff I do on winter days, okay?
I hate to tell you this all the time. You ain't supposed to have to work on your planes at the field.
Huh?
I said, I hate to tell you this, but you're not supposed to have to work on your airplanes at the field.
I know that, but
Yeah.
I like to wipe my plane down, spray my plane, every flight, because I hate that oil shit. And it's nice to not be working on the ground, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you
You're
can
gonna find out that when I get up, my feet go to sleep.
Yeah. Or if you try to stand up and do it, you can bust a rudder off if you're not careful, propping it up on the ground or something like that.
Well, I never understood it. I mean, at RC fields, we always had benches. Set your airplanes on to fuel them, all that.
Absolutely.
Kind of stuff. But with control line, they don't do that.
I know
They don't
that.
have any benches or anything to.
Yeah, we even have tail hold downs so you can run your plane up. I mean, all kinds of nice stuff.
But we always did it too. Is that if we want to run an engine or do anything, we always did it on the bench because you don't want to suck dirt.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
On the ground, But
have no use.
Well, guys, I may have to jump off, and it's certainly good chatting with you again. And I'll be on Friday, and I'm going to show you the new RC sailplane kit I got from Laser Arts and Corky. And Corky, if you're listening, man, I love the kit.
Yeah, show and tell will be nice. Yeah, we wrote time anyway, so let's close it up and have a good week until Friday, and y'all can all.
Hey,
what do you got there, Tom?
Have you guys ever used these before?
Is that a fuel pump?
No, it's a charger for your glow.
No, that's cool. No,
it's 12 volt.
No.
You just plug it in your battery and you can charge your glow driver.
Oh,
okay. Glow driver goes on the end of it.
Oh, is it quick? I guess it's a quick charger.
Well, I don't know about that.
It takes 14 hours when you plug it into the
fast charge time is 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's it.
All right, people. Well, thanks everybody. We appreciate it. Good show, and thanks all the YouTube people. We still got 8 of them out there watching us. So we appreciate y'all coming, and if you'll click that super chat $ at the bottom, that's excellent help for us. We really, put it to good use. And keeps us on the air. And for all of you folks that are having trouble joining when we're running in an unlisted fashion, send me an email with the name you want to register with Stunthangar with and the email you're going to register with, and I will see that you get expedited and are able to access the links. That's for when we're unlisted. And meanwhile, y'all have a great week, and everybody, I hope, has fair winds, tight lines, and we'll see you later. All right. Good night, guys.
All right.
Good night. Bye.